Welcome, everyone, to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into a truly rigorous, structured roadmap for higher consciousness and personal evolution. Today, we're unpacking the 3 stages of the human journey. If you've ever found yourself looking for a comprehensive guide to navigating from basic, day-to-day existence all the way up to the absolute highest peaks of awareness, well, you're definitely in the right place. We're going to visualize this profound psychological and spiritual journey step by step.
But before we even look at the map, we really have to acknowledge where we're starting from. We have to ask, is accumulation really enough? I mean, we all know the modern pursuit of endless possessions and success. It so often leads straight into what we call a meaning crisis. We get the status, we gather all the things, and yet somehow that existential void is still there. The framework we're exploring today starts right exactly in that spot.
Okay, let's dive into this. To navigate this deeply philosophical framework, we'll be using a really clear 5-part map. We'll start with the human journey begins. Then, stage 1, finding meaning. Move into stage 2, embodying wisdom. Reach stage 3, ultimate unity, and wrap it all up with the unified progression.
All right, let's kick things off with part 1, the human journey begins.
The source text distills this entire evolutionary process so beautifully. It defines it as a movement from having to living, from knowing to being, and from being to the realization of the One. I want you to keep this quote in the back of your mind throughout our explainer today. It perfectly maps out this ascending ladder we're about to climb, representing a fundamental shift in how we relate to reality itself. Moving right along to stage 1, finding meaning.
To really grasp this first stage, we need to contrast 2 very different ways of existing in the world. We start out rooted into have. Our focus is squarely on security, possessions, and worldly success. But eventually, a psychological pivot happens. We shift toward to live. The internal questioning goes from asking what we can accumulate to asking how we should actually exist. And that pivot, that's the true beginning of an authentic search for meaning.
So, the central concern here is obviously meaning and purpose. But it's immediately challenged by materialism, consumerism, and that resulting existential emptiness we talked about. And honestly, it's incredibly validating to see that the hurdles most of us face every single day are recognized as the primary roadblocks to our own evolution. Overcoming those exact challenges is what leads directly to a meaningful, connected, and ethically grounded life.
So what's the actual antidote to that meaning crisis? Well, the text points to one core thing, and it's absolutely crucial. Connection. Think about your own life for a second. Maintaining meaningful connections with yourself, with others, and with the world around you is what actually provides life with belonging and direction. It's not about what you gather, it's entirely about what you connect with.
That brings us to stage 2, embodying wisdom.
Now, what's really interesting here is the profound difference between knowing and being. To know is basically just collecting data and information, right? It's having an intellectual understanding of reality. But to be requires genuine insight and direct realization. It's the massive shift from simply memorizing facts to letting that insight actually transform who you are at your very core.
At this stage, our central concern elevates to truth and wisdom. But the roadblock this time? It's us. It's our own ignorance, our illusions, and our egoic identification. We have to overcome our false sense of self and the illusions we hold about how the world works to truly integrate knowledge, character, and being. You aren't just reciting facts anymore, you literally embody the wisdom you've found.
And now we enter the most expansive phase of our journey. Stage 3, ultimate unity.
So in ultimate reality, the transcendence of the separate self finally occurs. The seeker and the sought are no longer experienced as 2 different things. It's wild to think about, but in this final stage, the search itself actually comes to an end, simply because total unity is achieved.
Here, we face the ultimate dichotomy. On one hand, we have individuality, which is defined here as our deep attachment to the separate self and division. On the other hand, we have ultimate unity, representing unbounded liberation, enlightenment, and union with the absolute. This is it, the profound final leap from clinging to our isolated identities to experiencing total liberation.
And what is truly awe-inspiring is how universal this peak is across human history. This single concept of ultimate reality echoes so deeply across multiple traditions.
We see Brahman in Advaita Vedanta, Shunyata in Mahayana Buddhism, God in Christian mysticism, the Tao, or simply pure awareness. It's amazing. The destination of this human journey remains breathtakingly consistent all across the globe.
So at this peak, the central concern is reality itself. The final challenge is surrendering our deep-seated attachment to our own individuality and separation. Yielding that attachment is what results in the absolute highest peak of the human experience, liberation, enlightenment, or union with the absolute.
Let's bring all of this together in Section 5, the unified progression.
When we zoom out, it's like a giant puzzle clicking perfectly into place, revealing 3 distinct thresholds. First, we move from to have to live, leaving possession behind for meaning. Then we move from to know to be, elevating mere information into embodied wisdom. And finally, we move from to transcend to be one, shedding our individuality for ultimate unity. It is just a beautiful, linear evolution from the tangible world all the way to the absolute transcendent.
Having walked up this ascending ladder together today, I want you to ask yourself honestly, where are you on this journey right now? What is your current primary challenge? And what is the exact next step you need to take to continue your own evolution? Keep that question with you today as you step back out into the world. Thank you so much for exploring this with me, and I'll see you next time.